one of my favorite Netflix shows. What I notice is that when an actor, celebrity, let's talk about these two brothers right here. The black guys who they don't speak in favor, but they don't speak against the black community. And then you have the guys who are kind of real pro-black. We'll put those in two categories, okay? Let's talk about the guys who are pro-black for a second. Now, Professor Griff married a woman, Soul, a rapper named Soul, who's, you can tell there's some black there. You can tell that she's a mixed woman of mixed heritage. And then you got Jesse Williams. Now, I can understand Jesse Williams getting some heat. Gave a standing he gave an outstanding speech to the black female community, and then he divorced his wife who was with a white woman. It makes sense to criticize him. It makes sense. And it makes things to expect him based on how he says, talks, and acts and speaks out against white privilege and racism, whatever. It makes sense to assume things of him to a certain degree. So if you date a white woman, then it's like, okay, I get it. Professor Griff. Now, here's where I get personally annoyed. Now, Professor Griff he's been there for decades, speaking, researching, being one of our black leaders, right? Now, Professor Griff, if you don't know who Professor Griff is, he was one of the main rappers. He's part of a group called NWA back in the late 80s, early 90s, mid-90s. So Professor Griff speaks out against racism. But he marries Zaza Ali. Then he divorces Zaza Ali. And then marries Soul. Now, I don't know if he was married to her. I know he's with her, at least engaged to her. And then he marries rapper Soul. Now, those are two women who obviously they're mixed. But what I don't understand is that when some people have a problem when it's like they're not black enough. And I say that because when they're talking all this pro-black shit, then they're black. When it comes to him marrying, okay, a fully phenotypical black guy and a half black woman, okay, or mostly Solange, then it's an issue. Now, my sister, I had this conversation with my sister a couple days ago. That's why I'm kind of bringing it up. We pick and choose when we want these people to be black, and then when we're not. You pick and choose when they're pro-black or when they represent you, and then you're not. Either these guys represent you or they don't. Jesse, I understand. Professor Griff, it's hypocritical to judge him when you have no problem with two mixed people having babies with each other, like Jesse and his wife. They're both biracial, but this black guy over here is with a woman who marries someone, and okay, yeah, I know she's mixed race, but you can tell she's black enough to where you can tell she's not anything else. So if either this person's black or they're not, and to expect things to press someone who isn't black, so it's like he breaks a lot of pro-black stuff. Then he marries a woman who's a biracial woman. She's black-ish, but you have a problem because she's not dark. Which you just said she's not black enough for you. But when she was rapping, then she was black enough. That you can't do that. You can't do these things. I find that's very, very hypocritical, because we tend to want to pick and choose when these people are black and when they're not. They're black when they fuck up. They're black when they mess up with us. But as soon as they want acceptance and camaraderie from you, and they want to acknowledge their blackness, then they're not black. well, had the tables been turned and it was Soul that talked all this pro-black stuff and she married Professor Griff, would the same reaction be? And let's get back to Professor Griff. Well, Professor Griff, he did not marry the person he's been with. He's been with two women that I know of who are of African descent, but they both, as far as I'm concerned, they both identify black. People didn't have a problem when he was with Zaza Ali too much. And not that I know of or heard, but she speaks a lot of pro-black shit. To expect things of him when he didn't venture out of the race, he just got someone who wasn't as black as Serena Williams, but he still was someone black. I think that is misplaced anger. It's like kind of selective outrage. Now, getting into people like Michael B. Jordan. And then, now before I forget, to expect things of Jesse, yes. It is slightly hypocritical with Professor Griff on our part to get mad at him. Because you're already projecting things of him and expect things of him when he didn't make, when generally when a black guy is pro-black, you expect things of him. But generally a black guy who's dating outside the race, if he's not saying pro-black things, but he's not saying disparaging things about black people, he's just living his life. So Mike Coulter, Luke, who plays Luke Cage on the Netflix Marvel series, Luke Cage, and Michael B. Jordan, who played Eric Killmonger in the first Black Panther movie. Well, these guys never made it a point to say, I'm for the black community. I speak out. I'm a social activist. If he did, they're not saying things like that. They're just living their lives. And I think it's kind of like asinine to project your fantasies, I mean the females, to project your fantasies onto Mike Coulter and Mike and Michael, because they didn't make any obligations towards us. They didn't do it. They're just living their lives, and they're both with women who are not black. Okay. If they are being a social activist, being spokespeople for the black community, then I can see where it is hypocritical. But they just played, both of them played roles that are very dynamic and pertinent as personas from which we see like a stand-up black man in a community that loves his city. And then you're judging him by the role he played, not by the kind of guy he is in person. You're judging him by the guy. You're judging him as Luke Cage, but outside the realm of his job, his profession. You're judging Michael B. Jordan by Black Panther franchise, Eric Killmonger, and the message he brought, and not judging him. You're judging him as Eric Killmonger, but calling him Michael B. Jordan. He did not make any obligations towards us or you. So to judge him based on someone he dates and then compare that with the role he played, that is fantasy. That's fantasy. That's complete fantasy. Judge him on who he is in person, not assuming that, since he played a role from pertinent, a very dynamic role of a black villain or hero, then I think we safe to assume that he's gonna be like that in real life. And wrong. That's where we fuck up. That's where I fucked up. And to get and I know it's kind of similar to what this athlete said. No, there was like he had this party on a yacht. I forget, he was like a basketball player or something, to where there was like no black girls there, whatever. But there's no black girls. And literally that's fucked up. I agree with that. But with Michael B. Jordan's case, where he was, I'm gonna just say it like it is. Black people don't fuck with beaches like that. We just don't. So to not see, and I know we like to party and go to cruises and shit. But as far as yachts and beach parties, uh, black people don't really do that in large numbers. Those when I go to a beach. I remember I used to go to a kid as a beach. I used to go to. Excuse me. I used to go to, since I'm from the Bay Area, I live in California. My parents would sometimes take me to Beach Boardwalk, Santa Cruz, and I would literally always see black. I would literally we'd be one of the only black people there, mostly white people who were who were at these theme parks and on the beaches. And even in the commercials, I see mostly white people walking around and enjoying themselves. So to get mad that there was no black people in an environment where not many too many black people go and do is kind of ridiculous. It's like there was no black women there. Nigga, y'all don't fuck with pool for a reason. You don't get y'all don't fuck with pool for a reason, because you don't get your fucking hair wet. You don't want to sweat out your hair. To get mad there was no black people in an environment is like getting mad that there was no. It's like Latinos getting mad because there was no Mexicans in Black Panther. It'd be really out of place. It's like getting mad at. It's like when the LGBT community was wondering how come there can't be more representation in Black Panther, nigga, because it'd be all out of place. It's just out of place, I feel. Um, so get mad when a black person represents community, expect things of him or her, when they are social activists against racism, against anti-blackness. When they speak out, expect their partner to be black. Do not expect their partner to be black when just because of a role they play. That's who they are on TV. That's not who they are in person. You know, you could play a gay character on TV and they'd be totally straight. You could play an evil villain and be the most loving person in real life. You could play a heroic hero. And actually, matter of fact, I used to watch Power Rangers a lot, right? Back in 2013, there's the season Power Rangers Wild Force. The Red Ranger, the leader, he was this this down to earth, love nature type of person with a good heart. In person, when I saw him on a reality show, a dating show, this guy was a complete dick. I did not like him. I was like, oh, so this is a role, this is another person. Don't confuse the two. But that's all I gotta say. And I'm out.